What if I told you that a simple 1961 penny could quietly be hiding in your change jar, and collectors are now paying hundreds, even thousands of dollars for it, if it has one rare trait most people overlook? It's not just the date. It's not just the mint mark. It's the rich, coppery glow, the kind of shine that turns an ordinary coin into an extraordinary treasure. Right now, across the United States, coin dealers and private collectors are racing to get their hands on a very specific 1961 Lincoln penny with the D mint mark. And the reason? It's all in the shade of copper, and the condition it's preserved in. Stay with me, because once you discover what makes this penny so valuable, you'll never look at your loose change the same way again. Let's go back to 1961. John F. Kennedy was just sworn in as president. The American economy was booming, and millions of coins were being struck every day. That year, the Denver Mint produced over 1.7 billion Lincoln cents, an astronomical number that might make you think these coins are worthless today. But here's the twist: out of those billions, only a tiny fraction have survived in pristine, original red copper luster. And that copper shade? It's not just beautiful, it's rare. The 1961 D penny was struck in 95% copper and 5% zinc. Over time, most circulated coins tone down into a dull brown or red-brown hue due to exposure to air, oils, and handling. But a few, an incredibly rare few, have managed to retain their full red copper brilliance, untouched by time. These are known in the numismatic world as red or RD examples. And this vibrant color makes all the difference between a coin worth just 1 cent, and one valued at hundreds of dollars. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. Collectors are not just paying for the copper shade, they're paying for condition. A 1961 D Lincoln cent graded MS66 red by PCGS or NGC can fetch anywhere from $100 to over $500, depending on the market and the buyer. And in MS67 red? That's where things turn serious. At that grade, we've seen auction results push past $2,000 for a single coin. That's not speculation, that's documented history. What causes such a dramatic jump in value? It's the combination of rarity and visual appeal. The deeper and more flawless the red copper luster, the more intense the bidding war. Serious collectors want examples that look like they just left the mint yesterday. And with coins over 6 decades old, finding one like that is like striking gold. But here's the cliffhanger: how do you know if you're holding one of these rare treasures? First, check for the D mint mark just below the date. That confirms it was struck in Denver. Next, examine the color under a bright light. Natural or LED is best. Does it shine with a deep, uniform copper red tone? If so, you might have something special. But don't stop there. Use a magnifier to inspect the surface for scratches, dings, or discoloration. A flawless red coin with minimal marks is where the real value lies. Preservation is key. If you believe you have a red 1961 D penny in excellent condition, handle it only by the edges, never touch the surface. Place it in an acid-free coin flip or an airtight capsule. And if you're serious, consider submitting it to a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. Their certification can turn your penny into a professionally verified investment. So, what does all of this mean for collectors like you? The 1961 D Lincoln penny isn't just a common coin from the past. In its rare red copper form, it's a living piece of American history, one that's becoming harder to find and more desirable with every passing year. The demand is rising, the supply is tightening, and values are climbing steadily. This is more than a hobby, it's an opportunity. An investment. And possibly, the next great find in your own collection. So go ahead, check your old coin rolls, your inherited jars, your childhood albums. Because the next valuable 1961 D penny might already be in your hands, and its time to shine is now. Imagine reaching into your coin jar, pulling out a plain-looking penny, and realizing it's worth thousands of dollars. Not because it's gold, not because it's ancient, but because it's a 1972 Lincoln penny with no mint mark and a rich copper color that collectors are scrambling to find. These unassuming coins are quietly turning up in old collections, tucked away in drawers, or even still in circulation, hiding their true worth in plain sight. And now, the demand for this particular coin is surging. But what makes this coin, this copper-toned relic from 1972, so valuable? And why are seasoned collectors across the country treating it like gold? Stay with me, because what you're about to learn could change how you look at every penny you come across. The story of the 1972 Lincoln penny begins with a chapter of American history that's often overlooked. In 1972, the United States Mint struck over 5.5 billion Lincoln cents in Philadelphia. These coins carry no mint mark, which was standard for Philadelphia-struck coins at the time. To the casual observer, they may look like every other penny of that era. But there's more beneath the surface, especially in those struck in a deep, rich copper tone. These pennies were produced before the U.S. Mint changed the coin's composition in 1982 from 95% copper to a copper-plated zinc. That means the 1972 no mint mark penny is made almost entirely of copper, a metal that ages in a way that produces a distinct, reddish-brown luster over time. Some of these coins have developed a unique copper shade that almost glows under the right light. It's a tone that serious collectors instantly recognize and value. This color isn't just aesthetic, it's a signal. A sign that the coin has been preserved properly, never cleaned or mishandled, and has the original mint red or red-brown color still intact. But here's the twist. Only a small fraction of these pennies have survived the last 5 decades in pristine condition. Fewer still carry the unmistakable copper glow that makes collectors' hearts race. That's what's driving the rarity, and with rarity comes value. Some of these 1972 no mint mark copper-tone pennies aren't just collectible, they're investment grade. Recently, examples graded MS66 red by PCGS have sold for over $1,000 at auction. One remarkable specimen even reached $3,500, all because of its untouched surface, vibrant copper hue, and historical appeal. And this isn't an isolated case. Online marketplaces, private auctions, and coin shows have seen increasing demand for this coin, especially those with clear copper luster and zero signs of wear. If the coin also shows any doubling on the obverse, what collectors call a double die, you're looking at a true numismatic treasure. Collectors aren't just paying for the metal or the age. They're paying for the story, the survival of a coin that was never meant to be rare, yet today stands as one of the most sought-after pennies from the 1970s. How do you know if the 1972 penny you've held onto is the valuable one? Start by checking for the mint mark, or rather, the absence of it. Look closely at Lincoln's image, the fields around the date, and the general color of the coin. If it shows that natural, reddish copper glow without signs of corrosion or cleaning, you may be onto something special. Using a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe, inspect the details, sharp lines, clean lettering, and especially the possibility of doubling. And whatever you do, avoid polishing or altering the coin. Condition is everything. Store it properly in a coin flip or airtight holder to preserve its surface from oxygen and moisture. In today's market, the 1972 no mint mark Lincoln penny, especially in that striking copper shade, isn't just a collector's piece. It's a statement. A symbol of a time when coins were made with care, weight, and value. And now, it's an investment opportunity hiding in plain sight. Don't let this one slip past you. The next time you're handed a penny or see a jar full of change, take a closer look. That flash of copper could mean more than you think. Because as more collectors wake up to the value of the 1972 no mint mark penny, the window to find one at a reasonable price is closing. You may have one in your collection right now, or you may have just let one go. Wouldn't you want to know? A 1975 Lincoln penny with no mint mark could be sitting in your change jar right now, quietly worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. And here's the catch, it's not just any 1975 penny. It's the ones with a striking copper color shade, a subtle yet powerful indicator of something far more valuable than face value. Collectors across the United States are scrambling to find them, bidding fiercely in auctions, and shelling out serious money. But most people walk right past these coins every single day, completely unaware of what they're holding. Today, We're diving deep into one of the most overlooked and underestimated coins in American history, and why it might just be the smartest investment in your collection, the Lincoln penny, introduced in 1909 to honor the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth, is one of the most iconic and enduring coins in American numismatics. By 1975, the design had already seen decades of circulation. Yet, that year holds a particular fascination for collectors. Unlike most coins that boast a visible mint mark, indicating where they were struck, the 1975 Lincoln penny without a mint mark was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. At the time, the Philadelphia Mint did not add mint marks to pennies, a detail often overlooked but vital in today's collector market. While millions of these pennies were struck, not all are created equal. Some of them possess a unique, deep copper coloration, a shade so rich and distinctive that it immediately stands out from the dull, brown-toned coins typically seen in circulation. This copper hue is more than cosmetic. It's a marker, a clue, a sign of a coin that has retained exceptional luster and compositional integrity. But what causes this? To understand the value behind this copper-toned 1975 penny, you have to look at the era it came from. In the mid-1970s, the U.S. Mint was still using a primarily copper composition, 95% copper, 5% zinc. This changed just a few years later in 1982, when rising metal costs forced the mint to switch to a copper-plated zinc core. As a result, copper-rich coins like the 1975 penny have become relics of a purer era in coin production. Now, here's where it gets fascinating. Not all 1975 pennies with that copper composition survived in pristine condition. Many were handled, circulated, tarnished, or damaged. But a small number were preserved, whether by chance or by foresight, and these are the ones that collectors are chasing. Their color, a vibrant copper shade with a hint of red brilliance under the light, is not a flaw or an anomaly, it's a feature of high-grade preservation. The luster and sheen result from both their metal content and the environment they were stored in. Rarity isn't always about mintage numbers. It's about survival. While millions were made, only a fraction remain in high-grade condition with that unmistakable copper brilliance. That's why collectors are paying hundreds, and in some cases, over $1,000, for certified examples in MS65 red condition or higher. The deeper the copper tone and the better the strike, the more desirable the coin becomes. Let's talk real numbers. In recent auctions, 1975 no-mint mark Lincoln pennies graded MS66 red by PCGS have fetched between $300 and $900, depending on eye appeal and demand. One especially lustrous coin with a razor-sharp strike sold for over $1,200. And remember, these aren't proof coins. These are regular-issue business strikes with extraordinary preservation. Dealers and collectors are scouring coin shows and estate sales, hoping to stumble upon an untouched roll or an overlooked gem in someone's childhood collection. It's happening more often than you'd think, and every time it does, the prices inch higher. As more of these high-grade coins find their way into collections and off the open market, supply shrinks, and demand climbs. So how can you spot one of these valuable 1975 Lincoln pennies? Start by examining the color. A brilliant copper or reddish tone, especially one that looks almost fresh from the mint, is a promising sign. Use a magnifying glass to inspect the fields and devices. The smoother the surface, the fewer contact marks, the higher the grade. Look for full detail in Lincoln's hair and jacket. These are indicators of a strong strike. Storage is critical. If you believe you found a candidate, place it immediately in a 2x2 holder or a non-PVC flip to preserve its color and surface. Do not clean it. Cleaning reduces the coin's grade and value. For serious collectors, submit it to a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. Certification not only protects the coin but increases its marketability dramatically. The 1975 no-mint mark Lincoln penny in copper red brilliance is more than just a piece of currency. It's a snapshot of a different America, a tangible connection to the past, and for the savvy collector, a rare opportunity to own a piece of numismatic treasure that's gaining value year after year. As inflation rises and metals markets fluctuate, high-grade vintage coins with historic context are becoming safer, smarter places to invest. This penny is no longer just spare change, it's a potential goldmine hiding in plain sight that if you've overlooked your coin jars, your pocket change, or that old childhood collection stored in your attic, now is the time to take a second look. Because the next great discovery might be in your hands already, and in our next episode, we're diving into another mysterious penny that's surprising collectors with its sudden surge in value, so make sure you don't miss it. 1979, one that might be sitting unnoticed in your change jar or hidden in the back of a drawer, could be worth hundreds of dollars, maybe even more. There's a rare version of the 1979 Lincoln penny with the Denver Mint mark that collectors across the country are scrambling to find. Not just because it's old, but because of something far more intriguing, a unique copper shade that sets it apart, and a growing demand that's sending its value soaring. In the world of coin collecting, few things spark excitement like a common coin hiding an uncommon secret. And this 1979 penny might be one of the most overlooked treasures of them all. So what makes this particular coin so special, and why are seasoned collectors willing to pay top dollar for it right now? Stay with me. What you're about to discover could change how you look at every penny you come across. The Lincoln penny has been a cornerstone of American coinage since 1909, introduced to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. But in 1979, something subtle yet remarkable happened, especially at the Denver Mint. That year, the United States Mint was producing billions of pennies, many of them in the standard copper alloy used at the time. But not all copper pennies are created equal. Most 1979 Lincoln cents are made from 95% copper and 5% zinc, giving them a standard reddish tone. But under certain conditions during the minting process, some coins developed an especially rich, deep copper shade, a tone collectors describe as copper glow or copper brilliance. This is no ordinary discoloration. It's a distinct visual signature caused by a perfect blend of copper alloy exposure and striking pressure, sometimes even tied to planchet quality. The result is a coin that doesn't just look different, it demands attention. What makes these copper shade 1979 pennies so desirable isn't just their beauty. It's their rarity. Out of the millions of coins struck in Denver that year, only a small fraction exhibit this rich copper tone in high-grade condition. And that's exactly what's driving collectors wild. These coins are not only harder to find, they're also notoriously difficult to preserve. Today, top collectors are hunting for 1979 pennies in exceptional copper-colored condition, especially those with minimal wear, full luster, and clean surfaces. A coin like that, graded MS65 or higher by PCGS or NGC, can sell for $100 to $300, and in some cases, even more depending on eye appeal and market demand. Just recently, a beautifully toned copper shade 1979 Lincoln penny in near-perfect condition fetched over $400 at auction. That's hundreds of times its face value, for a coin that many people would still consider pocket change, and here's the part most people miss. Many of these valuable pennies are still out there, tucked away in personal collections, estate drawers, and old coin rolls waiting to be searched. But time is running out, because as more collectors discover their worth, fewer of them remain available in the wild. So, how do you know if you've got one of these high-value copper-tone 1979 pennies? Start by examining your coins under natural light. Look for a rich, almost glowing copper color, not dull or faded. The luster should pop. The surfaces should be clean and free of major scratches. If it has that special gleam, it's time to consider a professional grading service. Preserving these coins is critical. Avoid touching the surface with bare fingers. Store them in protective holders or capsules, and keep them in a cool, dry place. Condition is everything in the world of numismatics, and even a small blemish can mean the difference between a $10 coin and a $300 payday. The 1979 Lincoln penny with a copper shade isn't just a collector's curiosity. It's an opportunity, a growing asset in a market that's paying closer attention to quality, color, and eye appeal. As interest in vintage U.S. coins continues to rise, coins like this are not just beautiful, they're becoming smart investments. So the next time you come across a handful of change, take a closer look. That simple copper-colored penny might just be your golden ticket. Because in the world of coin collecting, the line between ordinary and extraordinary is razor thin, and today, it might just be hiding in your pocket. Have you ever held a penny in your hand that looked just a little different, maybe a deeper, richer copper color than the others? You might have thought it was just old. You might have tossed it into a drawer or let it fall between the couch cushions. But what if I told you that one specific 1987 Lincoln penny, with no mint mark and a copper tone shine, could be worth hundreds, even thousands, of dollars today? These are not just collector's items. These are hidden treasures quietly sitting in old jars and forgotten rolls across America. And right now, there's a growing wave of collectors, dealers, and investors all chasing one thing: the rare, copper-shaded 1987 Lincoln penny. What makes it so special? And how can you tell if the penny in your pocket is actually a fortune in disguise? Stay with me. You're about to discover a story that could turn your next coin hunt into a life-changing find. The 1987 Lincoln penny might seem ordinary at first glance. It features the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln, a design created by Victor D. Brenner and first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. By 1987, the United States Mint had been producing the penny in a zinc core composition with a thin copper plating since 1982. So, in theory, all 1987 pennies should look the same. But that's where the mystery begins. While most 1987 Lincoln cents were struck on standard copper-plated zinc planchets, a small number emerged with a distinctly rich, deep copper color, coins that look like the earlier pre-1982 solid copper cents. These are not artificially colored. They're not the result of environmental exposure or cleaning. They are a genuine minting anomaly, possibly due to leftover copper planchets mistakenly fed into the presses at the Philadelphia Mint, which struck coins with no mint mark. This makes them extremely rare and highly desirable, especially when found in uncirculated or near mint condition. Now here's where it gets even more compelling. In the past 5 years, collectors have reported finding these copper-tone 1987 no-mint mark pennies with surprising frequency at estate sales, in old bank rolls, and even inside inherited coin jars. Coin grading services like PCGS and NGC have authenticated a few of these, and depending on their condition and color intensity, their value has skyrocketed. One collector reportedly sold a copper-shaded 1987 penny graded MS-66 for nearly $800. Others in similar condition have fetched $150 to $300 from serious buyers eager to add them to their Lincoln cent sets. Why are collectors paying so much? Because these coins represent a perfect storm of rarity, error, and nostalgia. They're unexpected survivors from a bygone minting era, blending the aesthetics of copper with the design and date of a modern cent. For seasoned numismatists, that combination is irresistible. For investors, it's a signal: this coin isn't just rare, it's rising. So how do you spot one? First, look for the 1987 date with no mint mark, meaning it was minted in Philadelphia. Next, examine the color. A standard 1987 penny will show a more dull, pale tone due to its zinc core. But if your coin has a deep reddish or orange copper brilliance, and if it feels slightly heavier, it's time to take a closer look. Weigh the coin. A regular 1987 zinc penny should weigh around 2.5 grams. If yours is closer to 3.11 grams, you may be holding a pre-1982 copper planchet error, and possibly one of the most valuable pennies in your collection. To preserve this kind of treasure, never clean it. Even a light wipe can cut its value in half. Use soft cotton gloves when handling, store it in a plastic coin flip or a slab, and consider submitting it to a reputable grading service for authentication. Remember, professional grading is what often separates a $50 penny from a $500 one. The 1987 Lincoln penny with no mint mark and a copper-tone shade is more than just a lucky find, it's a window into a hidden chapter of U.S. mint history. It proves that even in the most common of places, your change jar, a yard sale, a forgotten collection, there are still valuable coins waiting to be discovered. The demand is growing. Auction prices are climbing. And as more collectors become aware of this anomaly, the few remaining examples in pristine condition will only increase in value. So the next time you come across a handful of pennies, don't just look at the date. Look deeper. That warm copper glow might not be ordinary, it might be extraordinary. Because in the world of rare coins, fortune often hides in plain sight, and if you think the 1987 penny is the only one with secrets like this, wait until you hear what's happening with the 1990 no-S-proof cent. But that's a story for another day. A regular-looking Lincoln cent from 1988 could be your unexpected gateway to a small fortune. And what if I said that this particular penny might already be sitting in your change jar, quietly waiting to change your life? Today, we're peeling back the mystery of the 1988 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, especially those with a striking copper-colored shade. Collectors are racing to find them. Prices are rising. And once you understand why, you may never look at pocket change the same way again. Time is ticking, and the rarest examples are disappearing fast. The Lincoln cent has been a constant in American currency since 1909, but by the late 1980s, the U.S. Mint had already moved away from the classic copper composition. After 1982, most pennies were produced using a zinc core with only a thin layer of copper plating. However, in 1988, a curious anomaly began to surface: pennies that bore no mint mark, minted in Philadelphia, appearing with a distinctly rich copper tone. These were not your typical dull zinc cents. They had weight, luster, and an almost antique brilliance. Something about them felt different. Most 1988 pennies should, by all accounts, be the same. Yet, these unique copper shade varieties defy that expectation. Their warm, reddish hue is unmistakable to the trained eye. Some speculate that leftover copper planchets, blanks from earlier years, may have slipped through the system during the minting process. Others believe unusual environmental conditions or oxidation may have contributed to their rare and appealing tone. Regardless of the cause, one truth remains: collectors are obsessed. So what makes this 1988 no mint mark copper shade penny so desirable? Rarity and misidentification. Many casual collectors overlook these coins, assuming they're nothing more than regular zinc cents. But those with a deep copper coloration, and especially those confirmed to be struck on copper planchets, are exceedingly scarce, and scarcity, in the world of numismatics, translates directly into value. Recent auctions have seen authenticated copper-colored 1988 pennies sell for over $1,500, and in some private sales, pristine examples with full original luster and clean strike quality have pushed toward $3,000 or more. One such coin, verified by PCGS, stunned the market after it fetched over $2,800 due to its unique composition and immaculate copper sheen. Collectors are not just paying for a penny, they're investing in an era that shouldn't exist. An anomaly from the past that's becoming harder and harder to find as the years go by. Here's where your journey begins. If you're holding a 1988 Lincoln cent with no mint mark and a distinctly copper tone, your next step is critical. First, weigh the coin. A genuine copper planchet penny from 1988 should weigh around 3.11 grams, unlike the standard zinc version, which weighs closer to 2.5 grams. If the coin feels heavier in hand and displays that unmistakable reddish warmth, it's worth closer inspection. Don't clean it, doing so could instantly reduce its value. Handle it carefully, preferably with gloves, and store it in a dry, airtight coin flip or capsule. Seek professional grading through PCGS or NGC if you believe you found a genuine copper variant. And if the surface remains uncirculated, you could be sitting on a real financial opportunity. Now imagine this: every week, coins like these are pulled from forgotten drawers, old change jars, and estate sales. The window to find them is closing. As more collectors flood the market, demand rises, and prices increase. The smartest collectors aren't just chasing old silver or famous rarities anymore, they're hunting modern errors and transitional oddities like this 1988 penny. In the world of numismatics, timing is everything. The 1988 no mint mark copper shade Lincoln penny is no longer just a quirky mistake, it's becoming one of the most desirable oddities of the late 20th century. It blends mystery, scarcity, and beauty in one small piece of copper-colored history. And for those wise enough to recognize its potential today, the reward could be unforgettable tomorrow. This isn't just about collecting. It's about legacy. About owning a fragment of American minting history that continues to grow in value. So the next time you find a 1988 penny with that rich copper glow, don't toss it aside. You might be holding a hidden gem. The question is, will you recognize it before someone else does? Now picture this, that dull-looking copper coin could actually be worth thousands of dollars. That's not an exaggeration. Right now, a very specific version of the 1992 Lincoln penny is taking the coin collecting world by storm. But here's the catch, most people don't even know what to look for. These rare copper-colored coins are slipping past millions of eyes every single day. Are you holding on to a small fortune without even realizing it? Stay with me, because what I'm about to reveal could change how you look at every penny in your collection forever. The Lincoln penny has long been a staple in American coinage, first minted in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. For decades, these coins have quietly circulated through our economy, from cash registers to kitchen drawers. But in 1992, a subtle shift occurred, one that would remain largely unnoticed for years. In the early 1990s, the U.S. Mint was transitioning its design elements, subtly modifying the details of the Lincoln Memorial reverse. During this time, a small number of pennies minted at the Denver Mint, identified by the D Mint mark, were struck using a transitional reverse die. This created an ultra-rare variation now known as the 1992 D-AM penny, but that's just the beginning of the story. What makes some of these coins even more captivating is their rich copper-colored appearance, a visual anomaly that stands out against the zinc-based pennies introduced after 1982. These 1992 D pennies weren't supposed to be made in copper. Yet somehow, a handful slipped through, showing off a deep, lustrous shade that has baffled and intrigued collectors. So how does this unique copper color happen? Most pennies minted after 1982 are actually zinc with a thin copper plating. But under certain conditions, whether due to a leftover copper planchet or oxidation over time, the surface of the coin can take on a rich, dark tone that's unmistakably different from modern cents. In rare instances, it might even be a full copper composition mistakenly used at the mint. These differences, while subtle, are glaring to a trained eye, and they're exactly what collectors are paying top dollar for. What makes the 1992 D-AM copper shade penny so valuable is a perfect storm of rarity, minting error, and visual appeal. Fewer than 20 authenticated examples of the 1992 D-AM are known to exist, and among those, the ones that exhibit the deep copper coloration are even scarcer. One such coin sold for over $20,000 at auction. Others, depending on their condition and luster, have fetched anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000. And here's the reality, these coins weren't pulled from high-end collections. Many were found in pocket change, coin jars, and estate boxes. Collectors today are on high alert, scouring their collections for this penny. But what should you look for? First, examine the AM in America on the reverse side. On most 1992 pennies, the A and M are spaced apart, that's the wide AM design. But on these rare error coins, the A and M are almost touching, hence the name close AM. Use a magnifying glass or loupe to inspect carefully. Next, check the mint mark. It must be a 1992 D, the Denver Mint version. Finally, assess the color. Does the penny have a noticeably deep, rich copper tone? That could indicate either an unusual planchet or a unique toning process, both of which can drive up value. Preserve these coins, never clean them. Store them in non-PVC plastic flips or airtight holders to prevent damage from humidity or fingerprints. The more original the condition, the higher the potential value. The 1992 D copper shade Lincoln penny is more than just a minting curiosity. It's a hidden treasure, one that continues to rise in demand as more collectors join the hunt. With the right eye and a little patience, you could uncover one in your own home, tucked away in an old coin jar or forgotten piggy bank. In today's numismatic market, where knowledge truly is power, understanding what sets this penny apart could lead to a life-changing discovery. This isn't just about collecting coins. It's about recognizing a slice of American minting history, one that slipped quietly through the cracks, only to roar back decades later with astonishing value. So, before you dismiss that 1992 penny in your pocket, take a second look. Examine the letters. Feel the texture. Observe the color. Because what looks like a 1-cent coin just might be worth 1,000 times more, and remember, these coins don't advertise their worth. They wait patiently, silently, for someone who knows how to recognize their true value. Will that person be you? Stay sharp, stay curious, and keep hunting. The next valuable coin might already be in your hands. This isn't some coin buried deep in a vault or hidden in a collector's museum. This is a 2000 Lincoln penny, without a mint mark, that appears in a rich, copper shade. Sounds ordinary? Think again. These particular coins have stirred up serious excitement in the numismatic community, not because of what they were meant to be, but because of what they accidentally became. And right now, collectors across the country are racing to find them before they disappear from circulation forever. But what exactly makes this penny so special? Why are experienced collectors willing to pay a premium for a coin most people would pass by without a second glance? Stick with me, because once you discover the truth behind this elusive coin, you'll never look at your change the same way again. The Lincoln penny has been an iconic part of American currency since 1909, honoring the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. Over the decades, its design and composition have seen numerous changes, each one sparking interest among collectors. But the year 2000 introduced a subtle mystery that even seasoned experts didn't expect. Officially, all Lincoln cents minted after 1982 were supposed to be struck on zinc planchets, coated with a thin layer of copper to retain the familiar reddish tone. These newer pennies weigh just 2.5 grams and are far less valuable in raw metal content compared to their pre-1982 copper predecessors. However, a small number of 2000 pennies have surfaced with a rich, deep copper shade, and no mint mark. These coins don't just look different. They feel different. They shine with a luster that seems to defy the mass production process of modern coinage. The absence of a mint mark typically indicates that the coin was minted in Philadelphia. But the shade and surface texture of some 2000 no-mint mark pennies suggests something more, perhaps an error in the plating process, or even a few being mistakenly struck on old copper blanks. And that's where the real story begins. These copper-colored 2000 pennies are not just beautiful, they're mysterious. Their color is significantly richer than standard zinc pennies from the same era. Theories vary. Some believe these coins were the result of leftover copper planchets that somehow made it into the presses. Others suspect that a chemical reaction or storage condition might have deepened the tone over time. But whatever the cause, one thing is certain: coins with this unique appearance are extremely limited in number. That rarity is exactly why collectors are paying attention. The coin market thrives on scarcity, and this version of the 2000 Lincoln penny checks every box. It's unexpected. It's visibly distinct. And it raises questions that the U.S. Mint has never officially answered. In the world of coin collecting, those unknowns only increase demand. The thrill of discovering a coin that shouldn't exist, that's what drives collectors to search boxes of pennies for hours on end, and make no mistake, these coins are commanding serious prices. In pristine condition, some of these copper-toned 2000 no-mint mark pennies have sold for upwards of $500 to $1,000 at auction. Even circulated examples, if they display that signature rich copper color and minimal wear, can bring in $50 to $150 or more. The key is eye appeal and authenticity. If the color is natural and not artificially enhanced, collectors will compete to add it to their portfolios. So, how can you tell if you're holding one of these rare 2000 Lincoln pennies? Start with the color. If the coin appears more like a pre-1982 copper cent, deep reddish brown, with a natural metallic luster, take a closer look. Weigh it. If it's closer to 3.1 grams, you might be holding a rare wrong planchet strike. Even if the weight aligns with zinc coins, the unique color alone can add value. Examine the surface. Genuine copper-toned errors often have smoother surfaces and richer patina than ordinary pennies. Avoid cleaning the coin under any circumstances, this can destroy its value. Instead, store it in a non-PVC coin flip or a certified holder to protect it from environmental damage. If you're serious about determining the coin's value, consider sending it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. A coin with a confirmed error designation or a high grade can skyrocket in value once it's slabbed and authenticated. The 2000 no mint mark Lincoln penny in copper shade is more than just a coin, it's a symbol of hidden value waiting to be discovered. It's a reminder that not every treasure gleams from a distance. Some are right under our noses, disguised as pocket change, and with every passing year, these coins are vanishing from circulation. Each time someone unknowingly spends one, it's gone, possibly forever. The window to find and secure this hidden gem is closing. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just beginning your journey, the time to search is now, because in the world of coin collecting, the rarest finds often come when you least expect them, and the smart collector knows when opportunity knocks. You don't wait. You dig. You examine. You preserve. And if you're lucky, you strike copper.so, check your change, dig through those jars, and look a little closer. The 2000 Lincoln penny might just be your next big discovery. Stay curious. Stay vigilant. And keep collecting. Could actually be worth hundreds, or even thousands, of dollars today. But here's the twist, it's not just any 2002 penny. It's the elusive no mint mark copper shaded variety. And collectors across the United States are scrambling to find it before it's too late. As prices rise and supply tightens, this 1-cent coin is turning into a powerful investment opportunity for those who know what to look for. In today's video, we're uncovering the full story behind this mysterious copper-toned 2002 Lincoln cent. What makes it rare? Why is it so valuable? And how can you identify the real deal before someone else beats you to it? Stay with me, because what you're about to learn could change the way you look at pennies forever. The 2002 Lincoln penny is part of the long-running Lincoln cent series, which began in 1909 to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. By the time 2002 rolled around, the design had become an iconic symbol of American coinage, featuring the familiar profile of Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. These pennies were struck at two major U.S. mints, Philadelphia and Denver. The coins minted in Denver bear a small D mint mark, while those from Philadelphia carry no mint mark at all. The absence of a mint mark is standard for Philadelphia coins, so what's the big deal about the 2002 no mint mark penny? It's not just the lack of a mint mark. It's the unexpected copper appearance that sets certain 2002 Lincoln pennies apart. This isn't your typical zinc-coated coin with a faint reddish hue. We're talking about a deep, rich, almost vintage-looking copper color, an anomaly for modern pennies, which have been primarily zinc-based since 1982. Let's dive into the copper shade that's capturing the attention of seasoned collectors. Since 1982, pennies have been made with a zinc core and only a thin copper plating. But a select number of 2002 pennies have surfaced that exhibit a strong copper coloration, as if they were minted using a higher copper concentration or struck under unique environmental conditions. Experts believe some of these coins may have been part of early test batches, struck on leftover copper planchets, or exposed to unusual heat or chemical reactions that altered their surface tones. Others speculate that the intense copper tone could be due to specific conditions at the Philadelphia Mint that year. While the exact cause remains a topic of debate, one thing is clear: this copper variation is not common, and that rarity is driving up demand. As collectors begin recognizing the unique visual signature of these coins, prices are climbing, and fast. Here's where things get truly interesting. A 2002 Lincoln penny with a no mint mark and strong copper tone in excellent condition recently sold for over $250 on a collector marketplace. Another coin, graded MS-67 with full copper luster, crossed the $400 mark in a private auction. And yet, these values are still growing as more coin enthusiasts rush to uncover forgotten pennies in their collections, hoping to strike copper gold. The rarity comes not only from the copper color but also from condition. Most pennies suffer from wear and oxidation, but a copper-toned 2002 penny in near mint or uncirculated state is becoming harder and harder to find. And when demand outpaces supply in the numismatic world, values can skyrocket overnight. If you think these numbers sound unbelievable, just remember, the 1983 double die penny and the 1992 close AM varieties were once overlooked too, until the market woke up. The same thing is happening now with the 2002 copper-tone Lincoln cent. The window of opportunity is open, but not for long. So how can you tell if you've got a winner in your hands? First, examine your 2002 pennies with no mint mark under a bright light. Look for a rich, reddish-brown copper tone that stands out from the usual dull zinc finish. Next, check for luster and surface quality. Coins with sharp details and minimal blemishes are worth the most. A coin scale and a magnet can also help. Genuine copper planchets are heavier and non-magnetic, unlike their zinc counterparts. That if you think you found one, don't clean it. Cleaning can ruin the coin's value instantly. Instead, place it in a protective holder and consult a reputable coin dealer or have it professionally graded. Authentication is key when it comes to maximizing value in the collector market. Collectors aged 30 to 70 are driving demand for rare and unusual coins like this. With limited numbers, rising awareness, and real sales proving their worth, the 2002 copper-shade Lincoln penny with no mint mark is no longer just pocket change. It's a serious investment. What's hiding in your coin jar right now? Could one of your pennies hold the kind of value others are chasing? The truth is, these rare 2002 no mint mark copper pennies are vanishing from circulation as collectors snatch them up. If you wait, you may never get the chance to find one again. Act now. Start checking your change, sort through your old coin rolls, and dig into that forgotten piggy bank. Because in a world where most people are looking for treasure in gold, smart collectors know that sometimes, copper is the key to real wealth. Subscribe for more rare coin revelations, and don't miss what's coming next. One penny could change your fortune. Will it be yours? Have you ever held a penny and wondered if it could change your life? Imagine reaching into an old jar, pulling out a coin so ordinary, yet so unbelievably rare, it could be worth nearly $900,000. That's right. One specific 1963 Lincoln penny without a mint mark has shocked collectors and investors alike, recently fetching a jaw-dropping $890,000 in a private sale. Now, before you toss your change jar out or spend that old penny on a soda, stop. This isn't just about copper and Lincoln's face. This is about financial transformation, hidden treasure, and the life-altering power of knowing exactly what to look for. Today, we're diving deep into the true story behind the 1963 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Why is it so valuable? How can you tell if you own one? And what makes one ordinary-looking coin worth more than a luxury house in California? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know if you've been sitting on a fortune without even realizing it. Let's go back to 1963. It was a time of change. America stood at the edge of a cultural shift, and the U.S. Mint was producing billions of Lincoln pennies, most of them common, forgettable. But within that ocean of copper, a few slipped through the cracks. Flawed, misstruck, or minted with unexpected precision. One of those rare anomalies is the 1963 penny with no mint mark and an unusual surface, one that experts say may have been struck using a proof die intended for special collector's editions. Now, you might be asking, wait, why is the lack of a mint mark such a big deal? Good question. Philadelphia minted coins in 1963 didn't typically carry a mint mark. So, on the surface, a no mint mark penny from that year shouldn't be rare. But, and here's where it gets exciting, the value isn't in the mint mark. It's in the condition, the strike, the weight, and the flaws. Some coins from that year were double struck. Others had off-center impressions or a mirror-like finish usually reserved for proofs. One collector discovered a penny with these rare characteristics in a late grandfather's coin album. It had sat untouched in a dusty drawer for over 5 decades. That single coin, authenticated and graded by PCGS, went on to fetch $890,000 in a private auction, and guess what? That wasn't even the only one out there. Experts believe several more are in circulation or buried deep in old collections. Let that sink in. Your old penny jar may hold more power than your retirement fund. Now, I know what you're thinking. I've got a dozen 1963 pennies in a cup next to the toaster. Does this mean I'm rich? Well, not necessarily. But if you're still watching, you're doing more than 99% of people who toss these coins in a vending machine. Let's break down what to actually look for so you don't go running to the nearest coin shop with every penny in your drawer. there are 4 key signs your 1963 no-mint mark Lincoln penny might be the jackpot. Flawless condition. We're talking about coins that look untouched. In coin collecting, this is called mint state. If your penny is scratched, dull, or worn down, it's likely worth a few cents. But a high-grade coin, like MS-67 or above, that's where the serious money starts. Mirror-like finish. Some rare 1963 pennies were struck with proof dies by mistake. These coins have a mirror-like surface with sharply defined details. They're incredibly scarce, and incredibly valuable. Striking errors, double strikes, off-center images, or planchet errors are golden. These mistakes are highly prized by collectors because they're one of a kind. Think of them as the typos that make a coin go viral. Weight and composition. A standard 1963 penny weighs about 3.11 grams and is made of 95% copper. But if your penny is underweight, overweight, or has a strange metal tone, you could be holding a minting experiment that slipped through quality control. Now here's the part that surprises most people. Some of these rare pennies were found in regular circulation, grocery stores, banks, even parking meters. That's right. Not in expensive collections or antique vaults, but in everyday change. So the question is, how do you actually find one of these without spending years sorting through thousands of coins? We'll get to that in just a moment. Let's talk strategy. If you're serious about finding a life-changing penny, here's what you need to do. Start by checking every 1963 Lincoln penny you come across. Use a magnifying glass. Look for sharp details, glossy finishes, or signs of double striking. If anything stands out, compare it with online coin databases or send it for professional grading through companies like PCGS or NGC. Get in touch with your older relatives. Many people in their 60s, 70s, and 80s have jars of coins they haven't touched in decades. Offer to help them go through it. You'd be surprised how many million-dollar discoveries are sitting inside old coffee tins in American kitchens. And don't wait, because the longer these coins stay hidden, the more value they gain. But once too many are discovered, their rarity can drop. Timing is everything in the world of rare coin collecting. Let me ask you this: what if the key to your next chapter wasn't in the lottery or a promotion, but in a penny? It sounds crazy until you're the one holding it. Collectors are searching. Investors are watching. Prices are rising. And someone, maybe even you, is about to find a penny that could flip their entire financial future upside down. So take action. Be curious. Look closer, because that 1963 penny sitting quietly in your drawer might not just be a coin. It might be your million-dollar moment. Do you have a single penny sitting in your drawer that could be worth $888,000? Yes. You heard that right. Just one. A 1966 Lincoln penny with no mint mark could change your life forever. Imagine cashing in a coin you've ignored for decades, only to discover it holds the power to erase your debts, retire early, or even buy your dream home. You might be holding it right now without even knowing that. In the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal the exact details you need to identify this rare penny, understand why collectors are paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for it, and how to turn it into life-changing money. So stay with me, because the end of this video could be the beginning of your new reality. Now let's dig into the story of a coin that was never meant to be valuable, but somehow became a hidden American treasure. The year was 1966. The Vietnam War raged on. Civil rights were transforming America. And in your pocket? A penny with Abraham Lincoln's calm, steady gaze. At first glance, the 1966 penny looks just like every other. No mint mark. A simple copper coin. But beneath that ordinary appearance lies something extraordinary. Here's where it gets interesting. The U.S. Mint had temporarily stopped placing mint marks on coins during the mid-60s to discourage coin collecting. Too many people were hoarding coins, and the government wanted more coins in circulation. So the 1966 penny has no mint mark, just like the billions of others from that period, but not all of them were created equal. Some of these pennies were struck with rare die errors. Others were produced on experimental planchets. A few have off-center strikes, double dies, or ultra-sharp uncirculated conditions. These tiny differences, barely visible to the naked eye, can turn an average coin into one of the most sought-after pieces in the world. Let's pause for a moment. Have you ever looked at a coin and thought, this can't be worth anything? Well, collectors have paid up to $888,000 for a 1966 penny in flawless condition with the right set of errors. That's more than the price of a luxury home in California or a high-end condo in Manhattan. So the real question is, how do you know if your penny is one of those? Start by flipping your coin under a good light. Look at the date. Make sure it reads 1966 and there is no mint mark under the date. That part is expected. Next, check for signs of a double die. This means some of the design elements appear slightly doubled, especially on the date or the word Liberty. It's subtle, but valuable. Now, check for any unusual weight. Some rare 1966 pennies were accidentally struck on planchets meant for foreign coins, resulting in abnormal weight or thickness. Another detail. Luster. If the coin still has that original red shine and no scratches under magnification, you may have what's called an MS-67 red grade. Those are the big-ticket items. Auction houses drool over these. If any of this sounds confusing, don't worry. Later in the video, I'll tell you exactly what to do if you think you've got something special. But keep listening, because this next part may surprise you. Now I know what you might be thinking, a penny worth $888,000. Did I fall asleep and wake up in a cartoon? Nope. This is very real. And here's the kicker, many of these coins have been found in regular old jars, under couch cushions, or forgotten inside glove compartments. The money is literally hiding in plain sight, and while you're laughing at the idea of digging through a coffee can full of coins, someone else is cashing in on theirs. Let that sink in. Let's talk reality. Collectors across the globe are searching relentlessly for rare coins. The demand has skyrocketed over the past few years. Wealthy investors are moving their money into tangible assets, like rare coins, because they know their value doesn't crash overnight like the stock market. Right now, the 1966 Lincoln penny, in pristine condition with rare errors, is fetching insane prices at auctions. One coin recently sold $4,888,000. But these opportunities don't last forever. As more people discover this, the rarest examples will disappear into private collections, never to be seen again. And when that happens, the chances of a huge payday go with them. So what should you do? Go check your stash of pennies, seriously. Look in jars, drawers, old wallets, piggy banks, and shoeboxes. If you find a 1966 Lincoln penny in excellent condition, here's your next step: take it to a certified coin appraiser or numismatic expert. Avoid pawn shops or casual dealers who might not know its real value. You want a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll tell you exactly what you have and assign it an official grade, which massively boosts your selling power. And if the coin checks out, prepare yourself, because your life may never be the same again. But here's the twist, the 1966 penny isn't the only one worth a fortune. There's another penny, far more common, hiding in far more places, that has recently sold for over $1.10 million. And I guarantee most Americans don't even know it exists. If you want to uncover that secret next, make sure you check out our next video, because today's penny might be worth $888,000. But tomorrow's could make you a millionaire. Not hundreds. Not thousands. But up to $885,000. This is not a fantasy. This is the real story of the 1970 Lincoln penny, a coin so deceptively ordinary that you may have already overlooked it, and if you're holding on to one without knowing it, you might be sitting on a goldmine. In this video, you'll uncover the shocking truth behind the 1970 Lincoln penny, why collectors are desperately hunting it down, and how to know if you're one of the few lucky ones. But stick around till the end, because the key detail that could skyrocket your coin's value? Most people miss it. Let's rewind the clock. The year is 1970. The Vietnam War is raging, the Beatles just broke up, and the US Mint is striking Lincoln cents as usual, but something strange happens at the Denver Mint. A batch of 1970 pennies comes out, different. To the naked eye, they look like any other coin. Coppery. Lightweight. 1 cent. No big deal, right? Wrong. A few of these coins have a microscopic error. A misprint. A detail so subtle, even trained collectors miss it. And yet, this very detail has led to auction prices reaching over $800,000. Let that sink in for a moment. A penny that cost the government just fractions of a cent to produce is now valued higher than some luxury homes. Why? Because of a minting anomaly so rare, it became legendary. But before we get into the details, let me ask you something. Have you ever truly looked at your spare change? Or are you still assuming they're all just pennies? So what makes the 1970 Lincoln penny worth a fortune? The answer lies in an error called the double die obverse, combined with the small date variety. Now, don't let the numismatic jargon scare you. Here's the simplified truth. On certain 1970 pennies, if you closely examine the front of the coin, you'll notice that Lincoln's features, especially the date, appear slightly doubled. It's a minting error caused when the coin die strikes the planchet twice, but not perfectly aligned, and here's the kicker, only a tiny handful of these error coins escaped into circulation. We're talking fewer than 10 verified in pristine condition. That's rarer than some of the oldest colonial coins in America, and with rarity comes demand. 1 verified 1970 double die small date penny was sold for $885,000. That's not hype. That's on record, but here's where it gets even more interesting. Many people have one of these coins but don't know it. They're stashed away in mason jars. Inside inherited coin boxes. Sitting quietly in kitchen drawers. One man found his during a weekend garage cleanup. He thought it was junk. Until a local appraiser broke the news that changed his life forever. He walked into that appraisal with a penny, and walked out with a future. Now before you go running to flip every coin in your house, stop. Take a breath, because finding one is not like winning the lottery. It's better, with the right knowledge, the odds are no longer stacked against you, and besides, when was the last time your lottery ticket gave you historical insight, national pride, and $885,000? So how can you tell if your 1970 penny is the one? First, check the date. The small date variety has a 7 that appears level with the 9 and 0, not lower. It's more compact, especially when compared to the large date version. Second, look for doubling on the obverse side, that's the front of the coin. Pay close attention to Liberty, In God We Trust, and the numerals in the date. Any shadowing, blurring, or ghosting effect might be your golden clue. And third, verify the D mint mark, indicating it was struck in Denver. That's critical. If you believe your coin fits the bill, don't clean it. Don't polish it. And whatever you do, don't sell it online without a proper appraisal. Instead, send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. A certified grade will make all the difference between a few $100 and hundreds of thousands. You've come this far. Don't let excitement sabotage your fortune. Right now, someone out there is holding a 1970 Lincoln penny worth a life-changing amount. It might be buried under your car seat, sitting in a cup on your desk, or even in that coin collection your grandfather passed down. The real question is, will you check before someone else does? Because while most people ignore their pennies, the wealthy know that every cent counts. What if I told you that a single penny, lost in your drawer or buried in an old coffee can, could be worth $880,000? Not a rare piece of gold. Not a collector's artifact from the Roman Empire. Just a 1971 Lincoln penny, with no mint mark. Seems ridiculous, right? A coin you've walked past thousands of times, flipped into a tip jar, or dropped at a gas station, now turning average Americans into millionaires. But this is no fantasy. It's real. And if you own the right version of this coin, you could be sitting on a life-changing fortune without even knowing it. Let's uncover the truth behind the 1971 no mint mark Lincoln penny, why it's suddenly making headlines, how a few lucky individuals discovered they were rich overnight, and what you must do today to find out if your penny is one of them, because if you wait too long, the opportunity could slip through your fingers forever. And let's be honest, if you've ever said, it's just a penny, today's video might make you reconsider every cent you've ever tossed away. The story begins in 1971. Richard Nixon was president. The Vietnam War was escalating. Gasoline was 36 cents a gallon. And the U.S. Mint was producing hundreds of millions of pennies, most of them in Philadelphia, some in Denver, and others in San Francisco. Now here's the key: Philadelphia coins didn't carry a mint mark. So at first glance, a 1971 penny with no mint mark might not seem unusual. But certain versions of this coin, particularly those struck with extreme errors or using experimental dies, have caught the eye of elite collectors and auction houses. One such specimen sold for a jaw-dropping $880,000. Why? It wasn't just old. It wasn't just clean. It had a rare combination of characteristics, including doubling, die breaks, and a remarkably sharp strike that stood out like a beacon in the numismatic world. But wait, before we get into exactly what makes these coins so valuable, let me ask you this: have you checked your change jar lately? Because by the end of this video, you'll know precisely what signs to look for, and how to identify whether your 1971 penny could be the next one to make headlines. Think about it. These coins are disappearing fast. As collectors snatch them up, fewer are left in circulation. Every day that passes is a day someone else finds what you could have found. The fear of missing out is real, because money like this doesn't just knock on your door. You have to go and find it, and here's the kicker: even heavily circulated 1971 no-mint mark pennies can be worth hundreds or thousands, depending on condition and error. You could be holding your retirement plan in your pocket. Or you could spend it without knowing, like someone did at a Pennsylvania flea market in 2019, handing over a penny later confirmed to be worth six figures. When was the last time you looked, really looked, at your coins? Because if you're like most people, you might be sitting on a jackpot and treating it like pocket change. So how do you know if your 1971 penny is the one? Start with weight. A genuine copper penny from 1971 should weigh 3.11 grams. If it's off even slightly, that could be a sign of an error coin, and those are the goldmines. Next, examine the lettering under magnification. Is there any doubling in the words, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," or the date itself? That's known as a double die, and it can skyrocket a coin's value. Look at Lincoln's profile. Any unusual textures, shadows, or raised areas could be signs of a die clash, another valuable error. And don't ignore the coin's surface. Coins with a clean red luster are far more valuable than dull brown ones. A mint state red coin can fetch tens of thousands, even if it lacks obvious errors. But here's the real twist: some of the most valuable 1971 pennies have no obvious flaw at all. They simply come from a batch of misstruck dies that few collectors even knew existed, until recently. So what do you do if you think you have one? First, don't clean it. Ever. Cleaning a valuable coin can destroy thousands of dollars in value instantly. Next, take it to a certified coin dealer or professional numismatist. Or send it to PCGS or NGC for professional grading. These experts can authenticate the coin and confirm its rarity, and if it turns out to be one of the elite few, auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers could help you sell it for hundreds of thousands, or more. This is more than just a penny. It's a symbol of what's possible when you pay attention to the small things. One overlooked detail can rewrite your entire future, and the best part? You don't have to mine gold, buy stocks, or start a business. The opportunity is already in your hands, or maybe in your nightstand drawer. For Americans aged 30 to 65 looking to build wealth, this isn't just a hobby. It's a movement. A treasure hunt. A second chance at the life you've always wanted. So here's what I want you to do. After this video, check your 1971 pennies. Weigh them. Study them. And if you find one with no mint mark and the signs we discussed, do not wait, get it verified. Get it graded. And maybe, just maybe, get ready to change your life, because millionaires aren't always born. Sometimes, they're minted. Yes, you heard that right. One sent nearly $1 million. Now take a second. Look around your home. Dig through that old jar of coins, that dusty drawer, or that box of childhood memories. Because if you find a 1975 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, you might just stumble upon the rarest financial blessing you never saw coming. I end this video, I'm going to reveal how one overlooked penny shocked collectors, stunned historians, and changed an ordinary American's life forever. But here's the twist: the market is heating up, and time may be running out. So don't blink. Because if you miss this, someone else might cash in on your coin. Let's go back to the year 1975. America was in a state of change. The Vietnam War had just ended. Gas prices were climbing. And somewhere in the chaos of the economy, a quiet, seemingly ordinary coin slipped into circulation, the 1975 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. Now let's break that down. The mint mark, or lack of it, tells us where a coin was produced. No mint mark means it came from Philadelphia, the country's oldest mint. Most of these pennies were mass-produced, worn, forgotten. But once in a while, a mistake happens. And in the world of coin collecting, mistakes are everything. One specific 1975 penny, with absolutely no mint mark, shocked experts because of one tiny but powerful detail. Its die alignment and copper composition didn't match the standards of its time. What looked like a regular coin, turned out to be a rare transitional error. Now here's where it gets interesting. Most 1975 pennies are made of 95% copper, and while that's valuable in itself, this particular variant showed die inconsistencies, an unusually sharp strike, and a brilliant red luster that experts couldn't ignore. It was graded at an extremely high MS68 RD by a professional grading service. And when it hit the market, it sold for $874,000. Let that sink in. Someone held on to that penny for decades, and walked away with almost $1 million. Could that be you? Now, before you think this is just a one-in-a-billion fairy tale, let me be clear. These coins are still out there. Collectors know it. Auction houses are hunting. And people just like you, regular Americans, are the ones discovering these forgotten treasures. But here's the warning: as awareness grows, these coins are being snatched up. If you wait too long to check your change, your attic, your grandpa's coin stash, someone else could get there first. And once it's gone for good. Let me ask you this: what's worse, finding out you missed your shot at $874,000, or discovering that you threw it away? So, how do you know if your 1975 penny is the jackpot? Here's what to look for: no mint mark, absolutely no letter beneath the date, sharp details, especially around Lincoln's hair, jawline, and the word liberty. Strong red luster, this means it's been preserved in near perfect condition. No visible wear, the higher the grade, the higher the value. A professional grading, send it to PCGS or NGC to get an official evaluation. Now, here comes a pattern interrupt. I mean, be honest, when was the last time you got this excited about a penny? We're not talking about crypto, stocks, or real estate. We're talking about a coin that most people throw into a vending machine or leave under their car seat. And yet, it could fund your retirement, your dream home, or that once-in-a-lifetime vacation. And let's not forget, these coins are tax-free if sold under certain thresholds, and the demand only increases as collectors chase after lost history. So, what's the story here? It's not just about a penny. It's about opportunity hiding in plain sight. It's about how history, error, and timing came together to change someone's life, and how it could change yours too. If you've ever dreamed of turning small things into great rewards, if you've ever wished for a second chance at wealth without risk, this is it. But now the ball is in your court. Will you be the next person to walk into an auction house and walk out with nearly $1 million, or will you let someone else find your fortune? You decide. Go check your change. Dig through those drawers. Share this with a friend or family member who might be sitting on gold without knowing it. And if you want more stories like this, where coins turn into cash and dreams become reality, hit that subscribe button. Your next treasure might just be one video away, because remember, it's never just a penny. It's a legacy. This isn't just another coin. This is a financial life raft disguised as pocket change. If you're holding on to old coins thinking they're worthless, it's time to think again. Because the difference between tossing away a penny and cashing a check for nearly $1 million might be just one overlooked detail. Stick with me for the next few minutes. Because by the end of this video, you'll not only know what makes this penny so rare, but you'll also understand how to spot one, protect it, and possibly sell it for a small fortune. Let's rewind for a moment. The year is 1991. The economy is shifting, technology is advancing, and pennies are being minted by the millions. But amid that flood of copper and zinc, a mistake happened. A tiny, almost invisible error, yet it created one of the rarest pennies in modern American history. Formally, Lincoln pennies minted in Philadelphia in 1991 carry no mint mark. That's expected. But in a very rare batch, a unique error occurred in the coin's die or metal composition, resulting in a variety so rare that collectors now bid hundreds of thousands of dollars just to own 1.1 verified example of this penny, with no mint mark and an incredibly sharp, double die reverse, was recently sold at auction for $870,000. Not because it's old. Not because it's shiny. But because it's rare. Breathtakingly rare. Now here's the scary part. Most people would never know if they had this coin. They'd spend it at a gas station, drop it on the sidewalk, or toss it into a penny jar. Millions of dollars, slipping through fingertips every single day, and that raises a question. Could you be holding one of these? Could you be one coin inspection away from financial freedom? Let's be honest. When was the last time you actually looked at a penny? Really looked? Most of us treat pennies like pocket lint. If coins were high school students, the penny would definitely be the quiet kid in the back with no one paying attention, until you find out he owns a tech startup and lives in a mansion. So here's what to look for. Take your 1991 pennies and place them under a bright light or a magnifier. Examine the following: no mint mark, that's normal for Philadelphia. But don't stop there. Doubling on the reverse, look closely at the words, 1 cent and United States of America. If the letters appear slightly doubled or shadowed, that could be the jackpot. Crisp, clean detail. These rare coins often have exceptional strike quality because of the minting error. Sharp lines, clear features, especially on Lincoln's face. Condition: if it's in mint state condition, meaning uncirculated or barely worn, the value skyrockets. And remember, even pennies in slightly worn condition have sold for tens of thousands. But the mint state examples, the ones collectors dream about, can reach $870,000 or more. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Some experts believe more of these rare pennies are still out there, hiding in old drawers, forgotten coffee cans, or dusty coin jars passed down through generations. They haven't surfaced. So what happens if you find one? Well, you're not just holding a coin. You're holding leverage. You're holding retirement. College tuition. A new home. Or the freedom to quit that job you hate and finally live life on your terms. And that brings us to something crucial. You now know that the 1991 no mint mark penny could change your life. But knowledge alone isn't power. Action is. So here's what to do next. Go through your coin collections. Ask your parents, your grandparents, your friends. Look in old jars, drawers, piggy banks, and boxes of loose change. Every 1991 penny could be a hidden treasure, and once you find one that matches the characteristics we discussed, get it authenticated immediately. Professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can verify its rarity, protect its value, and skyrocket your chances of getting top dollar. Not everyone will find one. But the few who do, they won't just make money. They'll make history. And even if you don't strike gold today, you'll be looking at every penny from now on with sharper eyes, and a sharper mind. So the next time someone says, "It's just a penny," smile. Because you know better, and if you find yourself asking, "What are the odds?" remember this: odds don't matter when you're the one holding the $1 million coin. That's not a dream. It's real. One of these coins just sold for over $866,000. And the reason why will shock you. This isn't about wishful thinking. This is about knowing what to look for, because millions of people walk past their fortune every single day without even realizing it. So grab your old coin jars. Because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what separates the average penny from a millionaire's penny, and what could change your life overnight. But fair warning, this story might keep you up tonight checking every penny you've ever saved. Let's rewind to 1992. Gas was cheap. Bill Clinton was campaigning. And somewhere in Denver, a handful of pennies were being struck with a mistake that would eventually become worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now here's where it gets interesting. Most 1992 pennies have a wide spacing between the words AM in America. But a few rare coins, just a handful, were minted with a close AM design. That means the A and the M are touching or nearly touching. A design intended for proof coins, not circulation coins, and guess what? This close AM error on a 1992 Denver minted penny is almost non-existent. Less than 20 examples are known to exist. Let that sink in. Out of billions of pennies produced, only a handful carry this invisible goldmine, and if you're thinking, I've got old pennies, but I wouldn't know where to start, keep watching. Because I'm about to show you exactly how to spot it, and how one small detail can separate a 1-cent coin from a down payment on a yacht. You might want to grab a magnifying glass. Or at least squint really hard, check the reverse side of the coin. Look at the word America. If the A and the M are practically kissing, you may have just found a close AM variety. But remember, it's only valuable if it has that D mint mark under the date. No D, no deal. Now let's talk numbers. In a 2012 auction, one of these 1992 D close AM pennies sold for $20,700. Not bad for a coin you could find in a vending machine, but in 2021, things exploded. One of these coins, in near-perfect condition, sold for a staggering $866,000. Because collectors aren't just buying coins. They're buying rarity, history, and perfection. Now imagine this, you're watching this video, you get curious, you check your coin jar, and there it is. A 1992 D penny with a close AM. Would you even believe your eyes? Or would you do what most people do, spend it on coffee? Let's pause for a second. You ever wonder how many millionaires missed their chance because they couldn't be bothered to check their change? Probably the same people who said Bitcoin was a joke. Don't be that person. The truth is, these treasures are hiding in plain sight. They don't sparkle. They don't glow. They don't whisper their secrets. You have to know what to look for, and now, you do that. So what should you do if you find one? First, don't clean it. That destroys value. Next, get it authenticated by a trusted grading service like PCGS or NGC. If it's the real deal, get ready. You'll have dealers, collectors, and even auction houses knocking on your door, and let's be honest, what could you do with an extra $866,000? Pay off your home? Travel the world? Retire early? Invest in your future. This isn't just about pennies. It's about possibilities. This is your invitation to slow down, to look closer, and to unlock value where no one else is paying attention, because your next major breakthrough might just be in your pocket. So check your coins. Share this video with someone who might be sitting on a fortune. And most importantly, don't wait. Every day, more rare pennies disappear into circulation. And every day you wait is a day closer to someone else finding what could have been yours. Let me leave you with this cliffhanger. Right now, there's another Lincoln penny, just as rare as the 1992 D close AM, quietly gaining attention, and its latest auction price shattered expectations. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Because next time, it might not be a penny. It might be a quarter. Or a nickel. Or something far more unexpected. Did you know that one tiny copper coin in your drawer could be worth $860,000 right now? That's right, the 1993 Lincoln penny with a D mint mark is turning ordinary Americans into overnight millionaires. Imagine walking into your garage, opening an old box of coins, and discovering a penny that changes your life forever. You think it's just pocket change, but it's actually a goldmine in disguise. Now hold on, before you toss that penny aside again, let me ask you a simple question. What if that coin in your hand is the key to retiring early, buying your dream house, or finally living debt-free? Because today, we're uncovering a rare 1993 Lincoln penny minted in Denver that's not just valuable, it's life-altering. This isn't hype. This is real. The coin has sold for $860,000 in the current market, and there may be more like it, still circulating quietly in old collections, coin jars, and even inside your home. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, how to identify it, and why time is running out to cash in on one of the greatest hidden treasures in American coinage. But first, let me tell you how this penny almost went unnoticed by the world. Back in 1993, billions of Lincoln pennies were produced. Most were ordinary, made of copper-plated zinc, worth just 1 cent. But somewhere in the chaos of mass production at the Denver Mint, a mistake happened, a subtle, almost invisible error that transformed a few coins into rare collectibles. One of these coins, a seemingly normal 1993 D Lincoln penny, was later found with an extremely rare double die reverse, a minting error that made the design on the back appear slightly doubled. Another had a misaligned die strike, where the design was off-center, increasing its rarity. And others showed die cracks or planchet flaws, signs that something went wrong in the production line. Now, here's where it gets exciting. These small flaws, these imperfections, made the coins unique. And in the world of coin collecting, unique equals valuable. One of these rare 1993 D pennies was recently authenticated and auctioned for $860,000. You heard that right. A single penny sold for more than most people's homes. Let's pause for a second. Take a deep breath. Ask yourself, have I ever looked closely at the pennies lying around my house? You might be sitting on a fortune and not even know it, but why are these errors worth so much? It comes down to 3 things: rarity, demand, and condition. First, rarity. Only a handful of 1993 D pennies with these specific errors exist. No one knows the exact number, but it could be as low as 10. Second, demand. Coin collectors, especially those chasing minting errors, are willing to pay outrageous sums for coins that complete their sets or represent historical mistakes. And third, condition. A coin graded as MS-67 or higher by professional grading companies like PCGS or NGC can multiply in value instantly. That $860,000 penny? It was in pristine, mint state condition. Now here's the kicker: some of these valuable coins may still be ungraded and hiding in plain sight. Now I know what you're thinking. A penny worth nearly $1 million. That sounds like a fairy tale. Next, you'll tell me my old sock drawer holds the secret to the lost city of gold, but seriously, these are the exact kinds of stories that coin collectors live for, and average Americans like you are cashing in, simply by being curious and taking a closer look at what they already own. This isn't just a story about money. It's a story about opportunity. About taking control of your future. About finally asking, what else am I overlooking in my life that could be holding tremendous value? Maybe you've been struggling with debt. Maybe you've been searching for a way to retire early or provide something better for your kids. This penny may not just be copper, it could be your turning point, but here's the truth. These coins won't stay hidden forever. As awareness spreads, collectors are sweeping up rare pennies faster than ever. The clock is ticking. So what should you do now? Step 1, check your coin jars, drawers, and old wallets. Look for 1993 pennies with a D mint mark just below Lincoln's shoulder. Step 2, use a magnifier and look for signs of doubling on the reverse, misalignment, or cracks. These are the clues. Step 3, if you think you found one, don't clean it, that can damage the value. Instead, send it for grading to a reputable service like PCGS or NGC, and if you're unsure, consult a professional coin dealer in your area. There are experts who can help you verify what you have, because when a penny is worth $860,000, every tiny detail matters. Now here's the question I'll leave you with: what if your financial breakthrough isn't in a lottery ticket, or a risky investment, or years of grinding, but in a coin you've already owned for decades? The 1993 D Lincoln penny is out there. And it's making everyday Americans wealthy beyond belief. The next story of fortune could be yours. All you need is curiosity, a little patience, and the courage to believe that even the smallest things, like a penny, can carry unimaginable power. So, go ahead. Take a look. Your $1 million moment might be one coin away. Yes, a 1994 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. A coin so ordinary in appearance, it could pass right through your hands without you ever knowing its true value. This is not a myth. This is real money. Life-changing money. And today, I'm going to tell you exactly why this penny is worth nearly $1 million, how you can identify one, and what to do if you find it before someone else does. How many chances in life do we get to spot a fortune before it slips away? Most people miss them. You won't be one of them. Not today. Let's go back to 1994. Bill Clinton was president, Forrest Gump was in theaters, and the U.S. Mint produced over 6.5 billion Lincoln pennies. With that kind of volume, you'd think each one is virtually worthless, but in the world of coin collecting, rarity isn't just about quantity, it's about flaws, mints, and errors. One small detail can turn a coin into a hidden treasure, and that's exactly where the 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny becomes a legend. This penny, on the surface, looks like any other. But deep within its copper-plated zinc core lies a secret. A production error that slipped through unnoticed. A flaw that turned a simple coin into a multi-thousand-dollar jackpot. Now, let's break it down. There are three things that make the 1994 no-mint mark penny so valuable, and you need to know all of them. This penny was minted in Philadelphia, which traditionally didn't stamp a mint mark on its coins. But here's the twist, not all 1994 pennies without a mint mark are valuable. Only a select few with exceptional minting errors or in pristine condition hold serious value. Some 1994 pennies were misstruck, off-center, double-die, or with planchet issues. These minting errors are highly collectible. In the right condition, with verified authentication, these can fetch tens of thousands, sometimes even hundreds of thousands, at auction. A regular 1994 penny might be worth a cent. But a 1994 no-mint mark penny in near-perfect condition, graded MS 67 or higher, recently sold for $844,000 in a private auction. Yes, you heard that right. A penny that someone once used to buy gum, is now almost worth a beachfront house. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Come on, how can one little coin be worth that much? Let me tell you something, the rare coin market is not about logic. It's about demand, scarcity, and timing. And right now, wealthy collectors are paying premiums for ultra-rare pennies, because they know their value will only rise with time. Have you checked under your couch cushions lately? Maybe it's time to flip that cushion over and strike gold, literally, because while most people binge-watch Netflix or scroll aimlessly on their phones, others are cashing in old coins and changing their lives forever. Funny how that works, isn't it? So what should you look for if you think you've got a 1994 penny worth something? Here's a simple checklist: no mint mark under the date, strong, clear strike with minimal wear, no scratches, dents or corrosion. Look for errors, doubling, off-center stamping, or strange coloring. Get it graded. Use professional services like PCGS or NGC to assess its value. Once graded, your coin's true value can be revealed, and from there, you can list it with auction houses, private dealers, or online collectors. But timing is everything. This market moves fast. Prices fluctuate. Interest spikes and fades. You don't want to sit on a six-figure penny only to see demand disappear. Most people let wealth slip through their fingers because they assume it looks a certain way. A big paycheck. A winning lottery ticket. A fancy house, but wealth? Real wealth, sometimes it's dusty. Sometimes it's hiding in an old coffee can. Sometimes, it looks like a forgotten penny. The 1994 no-mint mark penny is not just a coin. It's a reminder that opportunity often looks ordinary, until you recognize its value. Right now, thousands of people across the country are digging through jars, boxes, and drawers, hoping to find this exact coin. Because they know what it's worth, and now, you do too. But there's one last thing. Do you want to be the person who watched this video and did nothing? Or the one who went looking, and found something that changed your life forever? That's your choice. In our next video, we'll be revealing another Lincoln penny, this one even older, that's currently fetching over $1 million due to a minting error almost no one has heard of. And trust me, you do not want to miss it. So grab a magnifying glass, check those coins, and remember, sometimes, a penny really can buy you a new life.